My parents left me at a gas station as a joke. I never went back. Let's play a little game. I'll be your storyteller today. 20 years ago, my parents left me at a gas station as a joke. They said, let's see how long it takes him to get home. I never went back. This morning, I woke up to 39 missed calls. They finally found me. I never thought I'd talk about this publicly, but after seeing a TikTok about parents pulling life lesson pranks on their kids, something inside me just snapped. I'm 36 now, but I can still smell the gasoline and feel that thick summer air from the day everything changed. My parents, Gerald and Denise, were hardcore believers in tough love. Every moment growing up was some kind of lesson or character-building exercise. Missed the lawn mowing, I'd be woken up at 3 a.m. to do it. Missed the bus. Guess who was walking to school in the rain, even though Mom was literally driving that way? It was a July morning, and we were coming back from visiting my sister Sabrina at college, about 4 hours from home. I was half asleep in the back seat, iPod in hand. Yeah, I know, dating myself. Dad pulled into this tiny gas station somewhere off I-95. "Scott, go get me a coffee," he barked. I grabbed the cash and went inside. The guy behind the counter looked half dead from the heat. The coffee machine was down, so I had to wait for a fresh pot. When I finally came back out, the car was gone. At first, I figured they just moved to another pump. But then, I saw our old Camry pulling out onto the highway. I just stood there, coffee in hand, watching their taillights fade away. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Mom. "Let's see how long it takes you to get home. Consider this a lesson in problem solving." I tried calling, straight to voicemail. About 20 minutes later, another text. "Don't bother calling. Your father says you need to figure this out yourself. See you when you get home." Here's the thing. This wasn't even the worst thing they'd done. 2 years before that, they locked me out of the house in February because I got a C+ in chemistry. "Maybe a night in the cold will help you focus," they said. I broke into the garage and slept there. They made me pay for the broken window with my McDonald's paycheck. Back at the gas station, something in me snapped, or maybe it broke. I looked down at that still steaming coffee and just knew I was done. I had about $140 saved from my pool job. Backpack? In the car. But I had my wallet and my iPod. I went back inside and asked the cashier where the nearest bus station was. 2 miles that way, he said, pointing. "You okay, kid?" "Yeah," I told him. "Just need to make a call first." I called Aunt Lola, Mom's sister. They hadn't spoken in years because she enabled bad behavior when she bought me a phone after mine was taken away. She picked up on the second ring. "They left you where?" What happened next is kind of a blur. Aunt Lola lived 4 states away. She called me a ride. This was pre-Uber, so it was some local car service to the bus station and bought my ticket online. "Get here," she said. "We'll figure out the rest." Meanwhile, texts from Mom kept coming in. "Don't you dare call Lola. You better be walking home. Your father is very disappointed. This attitude of yours needs to stop." I blocked their number, turned off my phone, got on that bus and didn't look back. 6 hours later, I was with Aunt Lola. She filed emancipation paperwork the next week. Later, Sabrina told me they actually drove back to the gas station that night, expecting me to be standing there. They even filed a missing persons report, but it was dropped once Aunt Lola sent the legal paperwork. That was 20 years ago. I lived with Aunt Lola, finished school, got my GED and some certifications, built a life, started my own business, met someone, had kids, and I've never once played twisted teaching moment games with them. I thought that chapter of my life was closed. But yesterday, my office phone rang. Caller ID lit up with a number I hadn't seen in decades. They left me at a gas station 20 years ago. Now they want $50K. I hadn't seen their number in 20 years. I didn't answer, but they found me, and now I've got 39 missed calls and counting. Quick update. I never check my phone during meetings. It's been a hard rule ever since I started my construction company. But when I stepped out of the boardroom yesterday and saw 39 missed calls, my stomach sank. Most were unknown numbers. 3 were from my sister, Sabrina. We haven't spoken in 2 decades. If you missed my first post, here's the short version. When I was 16, my parents, Gerald and Denise, left me at a gas station as a joke to teach me independence. Instead of going home, I took a bus to my aunt's place, 2 states away, and never went back. Built a life. Started a business. 20 years of peaceful silence, until yesterday. The first voicemail was Sabrina. She was crying. Scott, please pick up. Mom and Dad found you. They're spiraling. Just call me back, okay? Not them, me. I stared at my coffee while listening to the rest. Most were from my parents, swinging between guilt-tripping and angry rants. Your mother is sick. How dare you abandon your family? Funny. They did exactly that to me. One message. Ended with my dad clearly drunk. You think you're better than us now with your fancy business? We made you. You owe us. I sat in my truck for a long time, watching my phone keep lighting up. Finally, I sent Sabrina a text. Denny's on 5th, 7 a.m. tomorrow. Come alone or don't come. She showed up looking almost exactly like I remembered, just older. Still had that nervous habit of shredding napkins. They're losing the house, she blurted before even sitting down. Dad's been gambling. Mom maxed out the credit cards. They found your company's website and they want money. The waitress brought coffee. My hands were steady as I stirred in some cream. Tell me everything. Turns out they've been quietly watching my company's social media for months. Dad's convinced I owe them for everything I've built. They need $50,000 to stop the foreclosure. Sabrina kept apologizing, said she tried to stop them. I asked, her one question. Why help them? After everything they did? She cried. Told me about Dad's drinking getting worse, Mom's shopping spirals, the constant blame game. They're still our parents, she whispered. No, I said. They stopped being our parents the day they drove off without me. The difference between you and me, Sabrina? You're still waiting for them to change. My phone buzzed. Another call from Mom. I declined it. Pulled out my wallet. I'm paying for breakfast. Block my number after this. Whatever they do next, don't call me. Scott, please. I love you, Sabrina, but I'm not your solution. Let them fall. I was halfway to my truck when she ran after me. They're coming to your office tomorrow. Mom found the address. I tried to stop them. I swear. I just nodded. Good. Let them come. Back at my office. 27 new messages. Now they were telling extended family that I was a heartless son who abandoned them in their time of need. Classic narcissist playbook. What they didn't. No? I'd spent the last 24 hours making calls of my own. Turns out their mortgage is held by a bank I've worked with before. They're 3 months behind. Foreclosure already started. So tomorrow, when they show up to my office thinking they have leverage, thinking they can guilt-trip me into bailing them out, they're in for a surprise. My lawyer's meeting is already booked. By the time they walk in, everything will be in place. They want to see what I've become? Fine. Let them see exactly who I am now. And what happens when you push someone too far? I'm not that scared, quiet 16-year-old anymore. I'm done running. I'm done playing nice. They came to my office begging, so I gave them 30 days to leave the house I just bought. They showed up in what they probably thought was their Sunday best. Mom in the same cheap floral dress she always wore to church. Dad in that outdated brown suit that never quite fit him right. The moment they walked in, Mom broke down, loud, theatrical, sobbing. My baby boy, look at you, all grown up. She moved to hug me. I stepped back. "Let's keep this professional," I said, motioning to the chairs. "What do you want?" Dad puffed up, trying to reclaim authority like he always did before launching into one of his sermons. "Now, son, is that any way to talk to your mother after all these years?" I cut him off. "Don't. You didn't spend 20 years looking for me because you missed me. You found me now because you need something." "What is it?" Mom sobbed louder. "How can you be so cruel? It was one little mistake." I laughed, but it wasn't out of humor. "A mistake? You left your 16-year-old son at a gas station 200 miles from home as a joke. Then you drove off laughing, saying, 'Let's see how long it takes him to get home.' That wasn't a mistake. That was the final straw in a childhood full of your twisted games." Dad stood up, raising his voice. "We came back for you. We turned around after an hour, but you were gone." "Yeah, I was, and I stayed gone. Best decision I ever made." I calmly pulled out my phone and hit record. "Now, state your business, or leave." Then the truth came spilling out, between Mom's dramatic wails and Dad's angry rambling. They'd taken out a second mortgage on the house for one of Dad's can't-fail investment schemes. Now they were 6 months behind on payments. The bank was foreclosing, and they needed $175,000 to keep their house. "You've done so well for yourself," Mom whimpered, gesturing around my office. "Surely you can help your own parents." I let them finish. Then I reached into my desk and pulled out a folder. "Funny you should mention the house," I said. "When I heard you were looking for me, I did a little digging. Found out about the foreclosure. So I had my company buy your mortgage debt from the bank." The silence was beautiful. Their faces went from confused to shocked to terrified. What does that mean?" Dad stammered, voice suddenly weak. "It means you have 30 days to vacate the property. My company purchased it legally at auction last week. We're tearing it down to build a new development." Mom wailed. Dad turned red. "You can't do this. That's our home." "Like that gas station was my home," I said. "At least, I'm giving you 30 days. You gave me 30 seconds. Dad lunged across the desk. I didn't flinch. Security was already on standby. They rushed in and pulled him back as Mom screamed that I was evil and would rot in hell. Dad shouted threats about lawyers. I just watched through the glass, still recording. My phone buzzed. A text from Sabrina. "They just called me crying." "What did you do?" I replied. "What they taught me to do. Look out for myself." It's been 20 years since I walked away from them. Now I'm using everything I've built to tear down the house that was never truly a home. Demolition starts next month. They left me at a gas station, so I tore down their house and built something better. Yeah, I ran away. Sure, they told everyone it was because I was on drugs, classic deflection. But here's where the story really gets good. Remember how I said I was going to demolish their house? Well, I did, permits in hand and everything. I even called them to come watch. They showed up with my Aunt Lola, Mom's sister, probably thinking she could guilt me into backing down. Instead, they got front row seats to watch their precious house come crashing down. Mom screamed about her garden. Dad threatened to sue. With what money, Gerald? I just sipped my coffee, calm as ever, while they lost their minds. 20 years of emotional abuse, flattened in 2 hours. And the look on their faces when the bulldozer rolled through Mom's prize-winning rose garden? Absolutely priceless. But I wasn't finished. See the land their house sat on? It's actually in a pretty good location, and instead of building some overpriced luxury condos, I decided to create something that matters. I'm putting up 20 units of affordable housing, reasonable rent, priority given to single parents and kids trying to escape toxic homes, just like I did. The best part? I'm naming the complex Annabelle Haven after my late aunt who took me in when I was 16. She passed away last year, but I know she'd be proud. She saved my life, and now her name will help others do the same. Of course, Mom and Dad tried to rally the neighbors against me, showed off childhood photos, tried to sell this fantasy of a happy family, but those neighbors remembered the truth. They remembered the screaming, the crying. One of them, Mrs. Henderson, came up and hugged me, said she always regretted not calling CPS. This morning was the final showdown. They came to my office again. This time, all apologies, all fake humility. Dad cried, actually cried, said they were about to be homeless. Mom promised she'd forgive me if I'd just help them out. I let them talk, 10 full minutes. Then I slid a rental application across the desk. You're welcome to apply for one of the new units, I told them. Just like everyone else. But you'll need references and a clean credit check. The look on their faces? I wish I'd taken a picture. But we're your parents, Mom shouted. Dad launched into his usual speech. After everything we've done for you, I just smiled. Exactly. After everything you've done for me, this is what you've earned. The demolition crew starts at 7 a.m. tomorrow. I reminded them not to forget their garden gnomes. They're still blowing up my phone. Sabrina says they're holed up in some sketchy motel claiming they'll sue me. Good luck with that. Everything I've done, completely legal, above board, and very, very final. Tomorrow morning, their house comes down, and I'll be live streaming the whole thing on Instagram for the family to watch. Funny thing is, I used to fantasize about revenge. Imagined all kinds of wild ways to get even. But in the end, just letting them face the consequences of their own actions feels better than anything I could have dreamed up. They threw away their son for a cruel prank. Now they get to watch everything they built be torn down to create something they would have looked down on. And me, I'll be watching with lawn chairs and popcorn,